Hey, welcome to the Sewing Report. I'm Jennifer Moore, helping you discover your love of sewing. It's time for another honest craft room tour. So we're going to take a look at my sewing space, get a little bit of an update, see what I've been doing, and as always, keeping it real. So for the first time, I've got somebody helping me shoot so you can actually see me in the space versus me being behind the camera, which is cool. So not a lot has changed except for there's a bunch of crap laying around. But I did recently pick up this silk organza from fabric.com, and the reason I got it was to actually use as a pressing cloth. So I got about a half a yard of this, and then I cut it in half. So I have two pressing cloths. I actually just used it, and it works great. And I think total it was about maybe $14 for the whole piece, but I got two pressing cloths out of it, and it's cheaper than the stuff you can get on, you know, like an actual pressing cloth. So I thought it was a pretty good value, and I had read that silk organza is good for pressing. This is my Tailor ham. I use this all the time. And of course my little DIY pressing board. This is a 24 by 24 inch piece of wood that I literally just covered with batting, stapled the back, and then I made this little cover out of muslin. Obviously I need to wash it, but you can tell this is a very much used ironing station because I use it all the time. And this actually works better for me than using just my regular ironing board. I find I can get a little more surface area here. And most of the time I do use the Panasonic 360 cordless iron, but we have an Auric iron, and then we also have a Sunbeam as well. But I've mostly just been using this, even though sometimes I feel like it doesn't quite get hot enough. But let's move on to the main attraction here. So obviously I've got a lot going on here. It's a little bit of a mess, but this is a very lived in and worked in space. And I feel like when I see pictures on Pinterest and all over, you know, those like 10 amazing craft spaces, I'm like, who are you kidding? You don't work in there. You don't live in there. You just took it for the photo, but you're not actually sewing. This is a real sewing space right here. And I usually keep the EverSewn in here, and then I keep the serger in the other room. But I like to watch TV while I sew, so this is actually a computer monitor that we've got set up. And then we've got our cable box, so I can watch cable, which is awesome. Binge watch HBO, whatever. And then we also have a Blu-ray player, so I can watch Netflix, YouTube, DVDs, that sort of thing. So I like to keep myself occupied. And this is some of the fabrics that I've got ongoing projects with. This is a Robert Kaufman fabric that this is leftover, but I really think I could get another dress out of it. I made a shirt and a pair of leggings out of it, but I think there's enough where I could do a whole other project. This is cotton interlock, and I actually was very impressed with the quality of this knit. I got it from Craftsy, and it was actually very inexpensive. It comes in a bunch of cute prints. It's 100% cotton, so there's no polyester in it, and it washes really well, and I actually would be interested in picking up more of this. Let's take a look at some of the other fabrics I've got here. Oops, okay, drop that one. This is a diamond, like sort of a double knit. This is a polyester fabric that I got from fabric.com. I made a toaster sweater out of it, and it came out really well, but I have a bunch of leftovers. This is a top I just made, and it's actually Simplicity 1693. There's several different views you can make. I did not realize, though, I cut sleeves for it, and I didn't realize that the view I made, the sleeves don't work with it. So now I've got sleeves that don't really go with anything. I have enough leftover fabric, not enough leftover for a top, but I'm actually going to try to make a pair of shorts with this. So it's sort of like a more modest looking Coachella type outfit, and I'd like to add some pom-pom trim. I have not worked with pom-pom trim yet. I have some. I've not used it yet. I think this project is the perfect one though. So I'm going to try to make some cute shorts. And then we've got the lace underwear, not sewn by me, but sewn live by James on the air. So of course our new butt mannequin is modeling it, because you know I'm not. That's not happening. All right, let's take a look at the closet. So in here I keep some more of my larger items, like I keep this quilt that I've got in progress that I still haven't finished. I did make another video showing the process of making the top though. It's called the Retro Plaid Quilt, It is a free pattern designed by Susie Quilts, and I will link that. I keep some of my larger fabric cuts. These are just knits that I need projects for, so obviously I don't need any more fabric. And then I also keep some of the purses I've made that we showed in a previous live show, and I keep stuff like batting, interfacing, you know, a lot of random stuff in here. And I've got a roll of Stiffy up there, which is quite large, and some other random odds and ends. And by the way, the craft table was also made by James, so you cannot purchase it anywhere. He made this for me for Christmas a couple years ago. It's huge, although that big cutting mat that I got, I'm eventually going to move it up here so that I can really do a lot of damage on the cutting table. But for the most part, you know, this has drawers, and then I just keep these little Sterilite bins, or, you know, little things. I think I got this at like a dollar store. So I usually use that sort of thing for storage. And I've got duplicates of tons of stuff. Also, I got this Aurifil like empty thread case just to keep some of my spools in it, and it works out pretty well. So I have a lot of craft supplies and not enough projects or time to accomplish all of them. But maybe someday, like when I retire or, you know, whatnot. But here's some of my other, here's where I keep all of my zippers. And what's in here? This? Okay, oh, these are some of my serger threads. And let's move over here. We'll take another look at my cabinet of fabric. This is where I keep a lot of my fabric, and I don't really have an organizational system. I know some people go crazy with the comic book boards and, you know, what lines, but I usually just kind of, I mean, I don't have that much that I don't know where everything is, but I kind of try to keep it grouped just by, like, I guess designer. Like, this is mostly cotton and steel over here. This is Carolyn Friedlander. I keep scraps in these bins. And by the way, these Sterilite bins meant for shoes are great for keeping fabric scraps and supplies in. I think they're only like $2 each. So you can really, maybe I should get, actually, if I was really super organized, I would get a bunch of them. And this would just be filled with Sterilite bins. And up top there, I've got some random stuff. Oh, I do want to, let me show you this, if I don't hurt myself here. This is a book that I got off of eBay. It is a collector's edition. It was made in the 70s, printed in the 70s, and Rosey Grier is a former football player who does needlepoint. This book is absolutely hilarious. I have looked inside, and the language and the projects are, it's very obvious it's straight out of the 70s, let me put it that way. But I just thought this was kind of a cool thing to have. I just love the cover, and the projects inside are like incredibly fun. Like he does like roses, and the language he uses, he's like when you're trying to wine and dine your ladies, stuff like that. So this is something that I got off of eBay, and I think I paid like $30 for it or something. But it was just something I saw and I really just thought was kind of hilarious. So pick that up. And then, yeah, so that's pretty much all my fabric. I do have some little knickknacks in here. I got this little container from Target, and I keep some of my rulers in here. And then I've got lots of random stuff like this little polar bear from Target, my glues. This is some really cool like waffle print towel stuff I got from fabric.com. I've made quite a few projects with it. And down below I keep some of my larger cuts and also batting scraps. And then over here, I'm not going to take this out right now, but this is actually a vintage Singer machine, a Singer 2012. And then up top I just keep some of the stuff I use, like shout spray, glue, starch, some little jars. These are just pasta jars that I spray painted gold, and I keep some purse hardware in them. And then this container from Aldi's, I just usually keep bias trim, more hardware, and purse hardware at the bottom. So that is basically my crafting space right now. I felt it was about time. It's been a few months since I did one of these. So feel free to share some of your own pictures or storage ideas in the comments and on Instagram. I'm at Sewing Report. I'd love to see what your sewing spaces look like as well, and I will see you next time.